Before man joined our feathered friends in the sky, moving from one point to the next on giant mechanical wings, the only mode of transport between countries separated by the oceans was via ship. The high seas played a major role in world economic power play, and whoever controlled the oceans, had the strongest navy and biggest fleet of trading ships, was an economic giant. Hi, I'm Gina McPhee, and this is Port Calls. Welcome to another episode of Port Calls, an inside look into one of the most important facets of our country's development, our ports, and the organization which manages them, SLASPA. The shipping industry has always been a major factor in world economics. From the earliest of times, world powers built the wealth of their civilization on trade. The famed Phoenicians, master mariners of the Mediterranean, established themselves as a major naval and trading power in the region. Later European powers, the Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, French and British, built their empires on naval exploration and trade with countries of the Orient and the New World of the West. To this day, the shipping industry plays a major role in trade and global economic progress. One can well imagine, as managers of the island's seaports, the shipping industry is a vital part of SLASPA's portfolio. In fact, we have an entire section dedicated to shipping. On today's show, we will give you an inside look into the shipping section. Let's start with who? Who makes up the shipping section?
Our shipping section is manned by 3 personnel. Apart from myself, we have our senior clerk, we have our accounts clerk, and also our junior clerk. And everyone is responsible for ensuring that, in effect, all the invoicing as it pertains to services offered by Port Authority are billed.
Now let's get deep down into what they really do. What is the shipping process?
We'll focus on the process, first of all, as it pertains to our section, whereby SLASPA, having a number of port users, agents, and also common carriers, they would have to interface with us at different points in relation to vessels that we have coming in here, whether passenger vessels or cargo vessels. So when it comes to the tariff and how it relates to shipping and our invoicing, the charges and the fees that are in here, this was put together by the direction of the Prime Minister under the Port Authority Act to ensure that all the different charges and fees that are levied are in keeping with what is expected by both the SLASPA Act as it relates to billing our agents and also ensuring that the customer is dealt with in a fair manner. Basically, the seaport tariff would make you okura with all of the different shipping terms, all of the shipping jargon, so to speak, as it relates to seaport operations, as it relates to also charges that would come with reference to clearing of goods, with reference to the fees and the charges. For instance, I can take an example of the excess storage charges. So the tariff would dictate to you the different rates, your grace period, and it would also indicate to you the basically information as it pertains to what excess storage is all about. It would also give you definitions of certain terms, shipping terms that is.
Let's take a quick break now. When we come back, we delve into the shipping sector and its impact on various sectors of our economy. Welcome back to Port Calls. If you're just joining us, today we're looking at SLASPA's shipping section. We've already introduced the personnel who work there. Let's now examine its role in port operations and the impact of the shipping section on various sectors. First, let's look at shipping and its importance to cargo and seaport operations.
The operations department and the shipping section are like hand in glove. So one basically does not function without the other. The shipping section depends greatly on the information we provide to them on a daily basis in terms of the information after vessel operations, after the stuffing, so that they can prepare invoices to bill our clients as per the work detailed. On the reverse end now, the shipping section prepares documents for us to certify when storage charges have been paid so that we can release. They also prepare the documents prior to any value-added services like destuffing or special requirements if somebody wants to move heavy equipment or even equipment rental in general. This information is passed back and forth across the two sections where the customer just makes a few steps, makes the payment, brings the proof to us, and we attach it to our documents. We have various documents providing to shipping, like the ship's log, which contains information on all what happens during shipside operations. We prepare the reports from that operation, number of containers discharged, loaded, and that influences the amount of revenue that SLASPA would collect based on the amount of time empty containers remain at the port. We also provide them with tallies coming out of the shed as to the goods we receive on a daily basis, whether it be destuffing or direct warehousing from vessels. So all this information is done on a daily basis. It's important to complete the information before the end of the following day so that the invoices are not delayed and that shipping can move on with their own part of the whole work. There must be communication at all times between shipping and operations in order for anything to take place smoothly.
And as you know, Port Castries is a multi-use port used for both cargo and passengers. What is shipping's role to passenger traffic?
The shipping section of SLASPA is that's actually the most vital part of SLASPA when it comes to Platinum Port Agency and our mission, because they are the ones that we directly speak with or directly communicate with in order to get our cruise ships successfully into St. Lucia. We request a booth in St. Lucia's ports, mostly of Castries ports, usually Queen Elizabeth, berths 3 and 4, or Point Seraphine's first and second docks. And the chief pilot, whom we usually communicate with, he will designate whether or not vessels have space, or he allocates them to whichever berth is necessary, so that they can then be called into St. Lucia and their guests can experience what we have to offer. Shipping and the cruise industry is very vital to St. Lucia's economy because, as you know, our revenue is mostly dependent on tourism nowadays, and the cruise ship industry is a very large aspect to that tourism industry. Every year we get hundreds of calls from different vessels with hundreds to thousands of guests coming into St. Lucia to try to stimulate our economy through the local vendors, taxi drivers, tour companies, even right down to farmers when they require provisions.
Now let's chat with Chief Pilot Nicolin Myers from the Marine Section as we look at shipping and its relationship with the Marine Section.
Well, first, I should explain what Marine Department does. So the Marine Department, in regard to ships and shipping, would be the department responsible for bringing the ships into the port. Port Castries, Port Vieux Fort would be responsible for collecting the statistics in terms of vessel arrival times, vessel departure times. Marine Department is responsible for making the log entries in regard to ships arriving and departing. Shipping section is responsible for collating these log entries and statistics to be applied to charges to the various lines. So we are the ones who collect the information for them, and then they make use of that information.
And finally, let's discuss the overall impact of the shipping section on the economy.
As I indicated earlier, since we have a number of port users and agents, I don't know if, well, at some point, any one of us, perhaps walking along the waterfront or just taking a look into our harbor, we will see different vessels berthed alongside, and especially as it relates to cargo. A lot of these vessels would bring in what we call break bulk, loose cargo, or containerized cargo. At the end of the day, all of this cargo is consigned to whether individual persons or businesses, different companies we have all around the island. So when these goods are being released, so to speak, out there to the different business houses, the shipping process, so to speak, especially as it relates to the mandate given by the tariff, this would impact, so to speak, what comes forth to the final consumer at the end of the day. Because we here at the shipping section, as long as we ensure that we follow the mandates of the tariff and that we bill each and every agent, I would say properly or in keeping with what is stated right here in this tariff, at the end of the day, whatever is passed on to the business houses, to the retailers, would go right down to our final consumer. And at the end of the day, I would say, if we start off well, it would finish off well for customers all around the island.
We'll take another break now. More port calls after the break.
When packing your carry-on bag, keep in mind the 311 liquids rule. Liquids, gels, aerosols, creams and pastes should not exceed 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters per container. This includes items such as toothpaste, gel deodorants, shampoos, lotions, and similar personal care items. Consumables like bottled water, peanut butter, and jams must also comply with the rule. All liquids must fit into one quart-sized clear plastic zip-top bag, and only one bag is allowed per customer. That's 311. There are some exceptions if you have special needs or children. You may bring prescription and over-the-counter medicines, baby formula, breast milk, juice, and other essential liquids in quantities larger than 3.4 ounces. Please present these items to security officers at the checkpoint because they may require alternative screening. For more information on Travel 311, go to slasper.com. This message brought to you by the Airline Operators Committee of St. Lucia.
Welcome back to Port Calls. Today we're getting an inside look into SLASPA's shipping section. Many of you interact daily with shipping as customers, and some of you will have cause to in the future. This segment is called FAQ, Frequently Asked Questions from Customers. Here we present you with some important information you would need to know. What are the documents commonly used by the shipping section?
In the shipping department, we use a various number of documents. By example, a manifest. This would contain a list of all cargo coming in through the port, whether containerized or break bulk. A requisition for port services, usually provided to port users or agents, and we use it for overtime deliveries, destuffing, equipment rental, etc. Application for berth, usually provided by the agent to give notice of the date of arrival and the time of arrival of the vessel. Our A form, this is the document that's most frequently used in this department, usually used to record electrical charges or excess storage charges. And our tug form, usually provided by our chief pilot, and it would indicate pilot services or tug services provided.
Why is rent accumulated?
Every customer is given a 5-day grace period by which they should get the goods off of the port. After it expires, rent would accumulate at $3.50 per day per ton. A ton is a unit of measurement used to indicate the weight or the measurement of the cargo.
How long can goods remain on the port?
By way of example, the grace period, goods could remain on the port up to 5 days, otherwise, as long as the customer would like, but they should bear in mind that rent is accumulated or goods may be auctioned after a period of time.
What are the consequences?
If a customer is unable to clear the items on port after the 5 days grace period, it automatically becomes eligible to be auctioned. However, SLASPA uses their discretion, but we do advise that you clear your goods off of port as soon as possible.
What waivers are available, if any?
There is only one waiver available. It could be used for various items, whether it be a barrel, a vehicle, container, or cargo. Through the SLASPA's website, you apply for the waiver, and at the discretion of the general manager, you may receive a partial waiver or a full waiver.
We'll take another break now. When we come back, we wrap up for today.
When packing your carry-on bag, keep in mind the 311 liquids rule. Liquids, gels, aerosols, creams and pastes should not exceed 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters per container. This includes items such as toothpaste, gel deodorants, shampoos, lotions, and similar personal care items. Consumables like bottled water, peanut butter, and jams must also comply with the rule. All liquids must fit into one quart-sized clear plastic zip-top bag, and only one bag is allowed per customer. That's 311. There are some exceptions if you have special needs or children. You may bring prescription and over-the-counter medicines, baby formula, breast milk, juice, and other essential liquids in quantities larger than 3.4 ounces. Please present these items to security officers at the checkpoint because they may require alternative screening. For more information on Travel 311, go to slaspa.com. This message brought to you by the Airline Operators Committee of St. Lucia.
Welcome back to Port Calls. Today's episode shone the limelight on SLASPA's shipping section, a most vital organ of SLASPA. The shipping section's role is pivotal to SLASPA's seaport operations. Amid creating a notable experience for passengers entering the country, SLASPA must also maintain a shipping strategy, since 50% of the authority's business is cargo-related. The section, a subsection of the Accounts Department, interfaces with internal clients such as the Marine and Operations Department and external stakeholders including shipping agencies, non-vessel operating common carriers, car dealers, cruise ship agents, ferry agents, brokers, and the wider public who often engage in various forms of domestic imports via sea. Within the shipping section are well-versed professionals who coordinate port traffic through a systematic invoicing process that involves the collection of rents and dues, equipment rentals, ferry and cruise traffic, tabulating manifests for cargo coming into the island's ports, among a long list of other activities. The influence of the section impacts all the nooks and crannies of this nation. The shipping section, in the most unrevealed way, plays an integral role in St. Lucia's tourism products, which by extension impacts our general economy. It contributes to the food we eat, the clothing we wear, our everyday forms of transportation, all imports and exports. Things as simple as a paperclip, the pens and pencils we write with, changing a button on a shirt, all the little things we take for granted, and the more obvious, home appliances, office, manufacturing and construction equipment, agricultural supplies and tools, and of course, what we produce here going to other countries. The shipping section, in a sense, helps to bring the world to St. Lucia and to send our best out to the world, building on SLASPA's overall purpose to connect people, partners, and the world. That's all for today. See you next time on Port Calls.
For the first one there, Mark.